Let the chaos reign.
Chaos Reign presents first Condoning Homosexuality for Their Sons. Broadcast February the 23rd, 2020. Enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, rape, murder, death, and all forms of atrocity that plagues the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it'll take a greater, much extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today. Good evening, bad people. This is Chaos here. And I'm back. It's been a while. And tonight, it's something, I didn't really want to go and discuss. To be fair, y'all know through the, right now, 4 years that I've been doing streams on many topics, many talking points, and many subjects that people like or dislike, or even just to have the discussion alone can be bothersome. When I deal with the homosexuality piece, I don't do this in regards to love and hate. I deal with just for people to get a better understanding, a clear understanding of this is bigger than the agenda that's already put forth to really not only stifle and stagnate people, but to, in time, which done right, which is doing what it's supposed to be doing, like all other things, factors that affects people or human beings, to reduce the population of people to whatever the billions we are in now, to less than a half or a third or greater. So whether people believe it exists or not, or there's an agenda or there's no agenda, the pudding's in the pie. Your eyes should be the best teacher than anything else. Don't take my word for it. You see it today on an everyday basis. From your famous celebrities to your famous, influencers. They tell you what day it is, what time it is. So before we go in, this will be, and I think after this, I will not be, like, as always, y'all know, I always go through, the briefings of, some intros of the show. But as we know, we are taking the show and this platform a little bit different now. So I will try to keep the information brief and then eventually go into the subject matter to what I'm trying to lay out tonight. So for those who are new to this stream for the very first time that's broadcast on Talk Real Solutions, go to the website, talkrealsolutions.com, where you see the 3-point plan, Black Power and Black Achievement. You also see the list of Black-owned banks on the website as well. And you'll notice all the latest articles and news. That's all on the website. Type in talkrealsolutions.com. Also on talkrealsolutions.com, there's a donation piece where you could donate as little as $1, $2, $3, whatever, to help the platform grow. Also, and actually there's also PayPal and Cash App as well. So this is also under this particular video on Talk Real Solutions on YouTube. You can type it up. You'll see the line and everything else present. So, and if I click on it right now, it'll show the new line logo on the main part, but still, nonetheless, existing shows. Some videos up there now, so if you miss any, you could catch the replay on a lot of these. Also, you can find me on Chaos Reign YouTube as well. These shows also will be up on my channel as well. And I also have Twitter now. For those who are not familiar with Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter now at Chaos Reign 7. So the information is there. Like always, you can go back to the replay if you miss anything. Give me 1 second as I try to see if I can get in contact with one particular person. All right. I'll just drop the link here for him and have him eventually called up. Let me see if any other announcements, if I'm missing. Just going through. And, I know they came up with a new DSM book, and I have not really gotten that book yet or gotten the PDF of this book. But for those who are not psychologists, I would advise every person that wants to understand a little bit more of all that diagnostics that people suffer mentally, it wouldn't hurt to invest in a book like that and have in your household. I have like an older version and a couple of versions on PDF of the Diagnostics Statistical Manual of Mental Health. So I advise every parent should own one and have one in the household. It'll be a good thing. So I guess we can get started. And the call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411#. So tonight's subject is titled Chaos Reign Presents Are Fathers Condoning Homosexuality for Their Sons? Just the subject alone, I had to scratch my head to this one and say, be honest with you, to be fair with y'all, even the question alone is to answer the question, or not even ask my question. I would say to the average male that's not culturally grounded and not really firm and strong, or doesn't operate in his masculine form or his masculine nature in a sense. For those who's not, most likely, if you might be condoning it, and not only condoning it, but you might be praising it in a way to the point where, you know, if your son today comes out and says that he is a homosexual, or he wants to act like a woman or a girl, dress up, or be, you know, having the female tendencies where he'll put on the makeup, the wig, you know, hell, even go as far as put tissue paper and wear bras. I could see a lot of fathers today, as they play a role in their children's life, wouldn't have a problem if their sons want to be gay today. Or if they came out gay, they won't. Some will say they're not going to advocate, they're not, but they can't say nothing much about it. They're not going to disown their children, disown their sons. And my question to most fathers, that's in this listening or in this call, whoever call, I have to ask you, why, if anything, if you don't condone it, why you make it seem like this is an okay thing? Usually as men, we are problem solvers, and we fix our problems. We just don't let things be broken or run them out. We take some sense of action. Some action we might take might not be something that people might not approve of. It might demonize you, but nonetheless, actions have to be taken. And I think a lot of black men, not just men, but let's say we're going to speak for a conversation for us black males, we don't take enough action to really address these problems. I remember one time asking a particular man, and I asked him this question. I asked him, what will happen if your son come home to you and says, Dad, I don't want to be a boy no more, I want to be a girl, I think I'm gay. This particular man would tell me, saying, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. I feel sorry. And I say, oh, sir, you are sadly mistaken. Do you know what world you live in today? Are you aware of the fuckery going on here? Anything in this sick, twisted world we live in, not just this country, but just globally, what this world we live in, anything is possible. You cannot leave anything on the table of the what-ifs or the possibilities. That's not logic. That's not thinking, you know. That, you know, your son could have the potential to say and do as he please. And the biggest question to you, man, what you going to do about it? I point the two fingers back at you. And you can see the highlight screens of the screen share showing of a brother waving his finger at his son in disappointment. And I'm looking that this weird agenda, what they call the homosexual agenda, read as a Jaffe recommendum that was written during late 60s, late 80s, you know, and we look at today, that this is something that they wanted to push a long time. They always said in that same memo that they're going to sodomize your sons. And I'm thinking to myself, I did not understand what they mean by sodomize, but when, more than a sense, a biblical term, we hear about sodomy, and they know it's a bad thing that used to destroy and hurt population of people, I went in and, you know, dig up the definition. And since I'm talking right now, let me type up sodomy. Oh, wow. And it says here, sodomy, sexual intercourse involving anal or oral copulation. And it says sodomy, for better of terms. And there are many other definitions. So when I really think about when they talk about you're going to sodomize our sons, that's what it's implied, that he has to do some orally or anal in that reference that deals with some form of penetration. And the only person that could penetrate is a man to a woman. There was some in the ancient times, even in regards to the negative confessions, they said, I have not penetrated a penetrator. And if you understand that we need not penetrate. That means you a man, you have a phallus that's long and hard. It is designed to penetrate the opposite sex. God willing, hopefully, you're going to use your tool to the best possible. You will not be penetrating another penetrator or a man that could potentially penetrate you. That's not what you're designed for. You're not meant to the earth to come in and come into form of male with dick and balls and say, I'm going to penetrate another penetrator. No. And think about it. The negative confessions were really designed of what we call the fall of Egypt. They already know and lay out what was to come. That's why they had these things put out for the land. Because, see, our people not only know present, but they could also seek and look into what we call the future. At the time when we were still in our natural state of mind before we were colonized by other foreigners that were non-black, we already see what was coming. So like anything, things are put in place for preparation. And there's also a definition here, more on this definition, part legal definition of sodomy. And let me click on to this. And it goes more further of the common law. Sodomy consists of anal intercourse. Traditionally, courts and statute referred to it as a crime against nature or as copulation. Against the order of nature in the United States, the term eventually encompassed oral sex as well as anal sex. The crime of sodomy was classified as a felony. Now, I'm not sure if any states today still label it as a felony as sodomy, but like I said, continuing. Because homosexual activities involve anal and oral sex, gay men were the primary targets of sodomy laws. Culturally and historically, homosexual activities was seen as a unnatural or perversive. The term sodomy referred to the homosexual activities of men and the stories of the city of Sodom in the Bible. Now, mind you, I don't deal with the Bible much, sis. I don't really read it much. I think the Bible today in its natural form today can be better used for toilet paper than anything else. It can be used something to clean your ass with, most likely. You can read it and enjoy some nice little psalms here, but overall you don't get nothing out of that book. If you're a Hebrew Israelite, obviously if that's your only knowledge and reference of life through the book, you're mentally retarded and nothing more out of knowledge you're getting. And I don't have no conversation with you, both you or the woman. So I keep that very short. But the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, because of their residents' immorality, became a central part of Western attitudes or altitudes towards forms of non-perceived or procreative sexual activities and same-sex relations. The beginning with Illinois in 1961, state legislators re-examined their sodomy statutes. 27 states repealed these laws, usually as a part of a general revision of the criminal code and with the recognition that heterosexuals engage in oral and anal sex. In addition, state courts in 10 states apply states' constitutional provisions to invalidate sodomy laws as of early of 2003. We're now looking at 17 years now. And this is in 8 states had laws that buried heterosexual and homosexual sodomy. 3 other states banned sodomy between homosexuality. In Balls v. Hawkins, 478 U.S. 186 106 S. CT 284192 LED 2nd 140 of 1986. The United States Supreme Court upheld the Georgia sodomy statute of Michael Hardwick was arrested and charged with sodomy for engaged in oral sex with a consenting male adult in his home. A police officer was let into Hardwick's home to serve a warrant and saw the sexual act. Although the state prosecutor declined to prosecute the case, Hardwick brought suit in federal court asking that the suit or the statute be declared unconstitutional. And on the 5-4 vote, the court upheld the law, writing for the majority justice and reject the argument that previous decisions such as the court's ruling on abortion and contraception had created a right of privacy that extended the homosexual sodomy. Instead, the court drew a sharp distinction between the previous case, which involves families, marriage, or procreation, and homosexual activity. The court also rejects the argument that there is a fundamental right to engage in homosexual activities. Prohibitors against sodomy were in the laws of moral or on the most states since the nation founded, to the argument that homosexual activity should be protected when it occurs in the privacy of a home, while, or what they call white states, that otherwise illegal conduct is not always immunized whenever it occurs in the home. Because the claim in the case involves only homosexual sodomy, the courts expressed no opinion about the constitutional of the statutes as applied to the act of heterosexual sodomy. And the Browse decision was severely criticized justice, when she voted with the majority later state that he had a made mistake in voting and affirmed the law in July 2003. The Supreme Court reversed itself on the issue of sodomy in Lawrence v. Texas, 539 U.S. 123 Stat S. CT 2472. I think this is some little statute code or something. In 6 3-week decisions, the court invalidated a Texas anti-homosexual sodomy law by invoking the constitutional right to privacy. And there are more readings. And there's more felonies. And in that, it deals with rape and bestiality as well. But on to the matter of what more present I want to get to. And let me just check something. Okay, good. Now, on to many things. One deal with this one character we call Dwayne Wade. And let me pull up some articles of this particular man. The first article I'm going to pull up. Let me see if I can find this. If this is the right one. And it's the main page as I typed it up. Imagine that. All right. It says here in People's Magazine, Dwayne Wade proudly opens up about watching his son become into who she now is. Imagine that. She now is. You know, the funny thing about these articles and these parents, how confused they are, when now one time their son, they born, had a boy, there's a boy and a son, and all of a sudden, years later, now the son doesn't want to be a boy, he wants to be a girl, and now we must call it from a he to she. It becomes a bag of fuckery and nonsense, like a bunch of confusion. Just like the day when I think another celebrity called Kylie Jenner, when he went from a man to be a old-ass woman. And mind you, you can't sit there and call these people what they really are now because they find that's a felony. And so, have y'all noticed that you can get protected if you want to have your sex changed and you want to call yourself something else? But when real present matters where you're being attacked by not only your race but also you are straight, is a problem. Have anybody noticed that? What message they're painting to every person, the populous people here in the West we call America, what message are you trying to send? So you send or you tell people that to get something in this country or to get anywhere, you have to operate outside your natural nature? Is that the message they're pushing? I wonder. But that's something that y'all should give the thought or think about. Okay, Dwayne Wade is candidly revealing how he has changed as a parent and a person to better support his child, Zion Makai Armandis, growing up. I watched my son from day one become into who she now eventually comes into. The former Miami Heat player, 37 years old, said about the 12-year-old Showtime All the Smoke podcast Wednesday. And for me, nothing changed in my love. Nothing changed in my responsibility. So all I had to do now is get smarter, educate myself more, and that my job, Wade, who is also father to Kavia James, 13 months, Xavier Sakash, I don't know if I pronounced his name right, 6, Zaire Blessing Dwayne, 17, and his guardian over nephew, Devon Morris, 18, added. The proud father says Zion and all his children inspire him. First of all, you want to talk about strength and courage. My 12-year-old has way more than I have. Wade said on the podcast, you can learn something from your kids. Like what, Mr. Wade? That my son one day decides that he wants to put on a dress and be a girl? Can I learn that? Is that the message you're pushing? Is the LGBTQ telling you and finding that you are a little funny or you act as gayish in a way so that they come to you and say, hey, Dwayne, come here. I know that, you paint your toenails and, you act pretty feminine like us. Why don't you just, we need your assistance, I know some of your kids, especially when look on it's moving a little funny, he's going to come out one day. Maybe you should, kind of be happy. Not only be happy, but, try to put yourself on the spot and tell others that it's kind of cool to, have your son grow into something else and condition the rest of these young fools or these young kids, these youngsters that if you want to be a girl, it's okay, you could do it. And if you're a girl, you want to be a boy, it's okay, you could do it. I wonder if that's the same private conversation Dwayne has with these set of people or these movements. I wonder. But let's continue. First of all, you want to talk about strength and courage. My 12-year-old has way more than I have, Wade said in the podcast, which I read already. The NBA star added that he and his wife, Gabrielle Union, talked about making sure our kids understand the power in their voice. We want them to be whoever they feel that they can be in the world. That's our goal. Understand you can be whoever and you can be whenever. He continues, adds that comes with help them in negative or navigate not only sexuality, but growing up as a young black man, more like a young black gay man, but that's another story. And then, he's going to get the hate mail and all that stuff, which comes with the territory. I know Boosie said some things about that, but he is no person to be saying anything in this matter, because he went in and last time I checked, his son had a 13th birthday party last year, and he bought a stripper to give his son a blowjob. And you're here talking about another man's son that wants to be a woman or a girl. Wow, where do they get that from? No, I'm saying little Boosie does have his opinions in the matter about what he's witnessing throughout media, but you're not in no regards to talk about somebody else's kid when you up here sexualize it and having your child being very much promiscuous already at his age, getting, head from black women, strippers. I mean, what message you putting out there, But, like I said, we are a lot of hypocrites out here. In addition to having open conversation, Wade said it was also critical to look inside yourself and examine your possible reactions or prejudice. Me and my wife are having conversation about, us noticing that, Zion wasn't on the boy vibe that Zaire was on, and I had to look myself in the mirror and say, what if your son comes home and tells you he's gay? What are you going to do? How are you going to be? How are you going to act? It ain't about him. He knows who he is. It's about you. Who are you? I wonder, who are you, Mr. Wade? Now, I've been seeing a lot of highlights and pictures of you painting your toenails, doing all this weird, freaky stuff. Even a question with Gabrielle, when she talked about sexual performance. Now, she's not saying you per se, but she said that, she's open to a lot of things, including eating booty. Need I say more? And mind you, this is maybe one of the reasons why she couldn't conceive a child, because she's indulging in shit. And I would tell Miss Union, maybe it's better if you stay off the shitter. I mean, I think eating anus is not really healthy. My girl, my fair lady, I don't think it's going to be digestible in the long run. I don't think your system can handle the feces for long. Eating shit for a while or eating a woman or another man's backside will not be very much nutritional. I mean, it does leave little, stenches in your mouth and your teeth. So, but hey, that's not sorry. But like I said, yeah, he's a what we call sugar booty. Dwayne is so funny. So him and Gabrielle linked together. They kind of are a match for each other. So can't knock that. Wade also addressed his response to the wave of backlash his family received after a family photo showing Zion dressed in a crop top with long paint nails as they celebrate Thanksgiving this year. You can't make this stuff up, I'm telling you. You can't. I've seen some posts of Thanksgiving hate on social about my family photo. Stupidity is part of the world we live in, so I get it. But here's the thing. I've been choosing to lead my family, not y'all. So we will continue to be us and support each other with pride, love, and a smile. The retired NBA star wrote on Twitter at the time. It's going down. Come on. Oh my gosh, because I'm getting problems. The way Wade says going for full custody was tough but beneficial for kids. They need me. On Wednesday, Wade said that he feels a responsibility to speak up for a lot of people that don't have the same voice that I have. I'm speaking for so many others in the LGBTQ community, Wade said. All these people that out there saying these things, look at yourself, understand that that you're the ones that got the issue. You're the ones that got the problem. He continues, it's not the kids, it's not the ones who decide, yeah, you're born a certain way, you gotta be that way. That's life, man. And related to Wade going for full custody, and he goes in further, Wade went on to say that it is the people who don't understand others. Uniqueness are the ones who are different. And that members of the LGBTQ plus community are normal. No, they're not. No, they're not. Wait, nah. They were create an entity which was backed by your United States government to push a further agenda. So, like I said, to cut and slash the population of people. I know you're not going to see this because you fall right into it, because most celebrities, like regular people out here that's living day-to-day, not living check 9 to 5, they're very stupid to understand the bigger intense agendas that are put inside for your reality. Unfortunately, you're not seeing that. So, I had to shortly give you a brief little education. I'm not going to educate all you because you have Google. Google is your friend. You have a cell phone. Cell phone is your friend. The laptop is your friend. Type. It'll pop up. It's there. Anyway, this is the new normal. So if anybody is different, we're looking at it all differently. The ones that don't, hold on, what just happened? Let's talk about this stupid. Sorry, people. Hold on, something happened. The ones that don't get it, the ones that get stuck in the box, you know their difference, not the people out here living their lives. The athletes added that he doesn't care what his children want to do in life. He just wants to be there to support them along the way. You want your kids to be free and living their lives, and I don't care what you want to do from this standpoint. If you want to play a sport, then play a sport. You don't have to be like me. Play your sport and be yourself, he said. Whenever you want to do it, my job is to support you and make sure that you have all the tools you need to be as happy as you can be in this world. While you're doing it, while you're growing into the person you are, that you're going to grow into. So there's not a difference. They're normally the ones that they don't understand and the ones that are such as different. A rep for Wade did not immediately respond to people's requests for comments. And that's the end. And I'm going to go to another article. Let me check some. And, the line is open to those who want to call. Let me check my board. I know most people want to be silent tonight. And, I know it hurts. They don't want to hear about this homo stuff, this gay stuff, this stuff, I know, I get you. I understand. But first, understand you will be educated as well. And much times, I go into the homosexual and the homosexual agenda. I don't take no lightly or frill of this. I deal with the information. I deal with what I see already. And I talk about it like anything else. This is what we call media. And what Dwayne Wade did, just like many celebrities, was noticed because it went postal. It went viral. It went for people to really keep an eye and look into this. It's funny that people need to understand that why would you put something or put people up front like Dwayne Wade's the world in regards to show what is masculinity? What purpose does that really serve? Are you saying this is the new masculinity? Are you saying that the black male image now is well known to be you have to be this to be considered a male, much less black? Do you have to sit there and accept your children leading themselves into destructive behaviors and do nothing about it? Is this the image that we supposed to witness today? And I have somebody that wrote something in the comment section that said, a child is not mentally mature to decide upon a sex change. What they want today may change tomorrow. And an evaluation should be considered for the entire household. Yes, I agree. But here's the problem. When it comes to the society and the agenda that's really what the end game they want is they want every household to not only condone it, but accept it and advocate and pray and hope and push that their children be at this direction, male or female. What I mean by this, that means your son, depending how well their hormones are intact and they're not been manipulated through the food, the injections, these constant, pushing pills in their bellies, they're hoping that their sons or the males come to these institutions, which we call a school, which is also a form of prison today, to be comfortable to say that they are this and they don't want to be this. They will sit there and open arms and applaud like it's the best thing, like sliced bread. They want that. They yearn that. They want more of our sons and daughters, especially the boys, because if y'all really think about it, the last dance of actual masculinity is a black male. Once the black male in mass numbers accepts his fate and wants to become a woman and either queer out or become that female, then you know it is a wrap. And the only thing you will see the numbers of population of people, not just black people, just population entirely, which is already struggling, start go on a decline. It'll go so down to decline, it'll be to the point where not even Rome stepped in to stop this. And we all know what the Romans did during them times. We all know what happened, like many mighty empires. It fell, and it fell fast, very fast. And the reason why it fell so fast is because it was meant to fall. So what they do now, because we look at America now as that same major big empire that's slowly collapsing like Rome, one of the last few days you see that's put in front is homosexuality. And that was introduced 51 years now. Now, mind you, it always was there. I'm not saying it never did exist. No, it was there. But the problem is they put things in place to protect the society so it does not go rampant where it starts it deals with the integrity of the community where now people are not being produced anymore. Not just by sex, but mentally they're not being produced in all fashion. So like any institution or government, they step in to protect and regulate to protect the people from destroying themselves. And we all know in a Western cultural society we live in, Europeans are well known for destructive behaviors, both physically and mentally. You get me? It's not nothing new. You don't need no special book to understand Eurocentric Greco-Roman society. You see it now in your eyes. It will help to read it to get a better template of the historical part of it. So what you see now, it makes sense. But for those of you that don't want to read, and I know most people don't like read nowadays, I mean, your eyes are the next best thing to figure out what really is going on. But like any great empire, it eventually falls and collapses. And one of the few things of the last days, you see homosexuality was one of those things that run rampant. And it goes rampant, unchecked, unnoticed, to lead up to this point and in this time. It has led for this time to really want to bring forth a new civilization. A new so-called, or actually it's not really new order, it's the same order because nothing really changed back in them time. It's the same thing now. The only thing you see is more of control. And like anything, homosexuality is that greater weapon. And how I could prove it's a great weapon, you can't say nothing without being ostracized or chastised through entities or people that's already sexually confused around your midst. You know? And you know, the funny thing, when I remember when my other good YouTube friend mentioned this and read the memo about it, it gets deep that, you know, a funny thing they said that if you mention their name in a negative way, that they will sit there, outcast you. They will destroy you. You know? I find it very interesting that you go into the outcast and destroy somebody because they don't view your sexual lifestyle. Like you intentionally want to sodomize everybody. If you're a homosexual man, for you to really become or act outside your nature, you need more bodies to feel validated. You're like a virus. To give yourself and sustain your life, you have to sit to infect others. No different from a parasite. No different. Parasites do the same thing. They sit there, find a new freshly host, and sucks your blood. Sucks it dry. And once the body dies, it jumps on to the next one. Let's say I look at homosexuality, same parasite. You know? Very deep in a parasite. So let's go into one more article, then I'm going to open this bad boy up. And this is also Dwayne Wade. This article, and it looks like it's from BET, I think. Okay. I think it's saying his daughter, Zaire, knew her gender identity at 3 years old. And it says here, on February 11th, former NBA star Dwayne Wade announced that his 12-year-old child would know. Okay, I think I might have read that already. Let me check, make sure. It says here, the unexpected explained by Zaire has known her gender identity since she was a toddler. She knew it for 9 years. She knew since she was 3 years old. Along this way, you were asking questions where you learned, but she knew. He also details how he had to handle his own bias with having a transgender child. I knew early on that I had to check myself, that what I knew early on that I had to ask myself a question. I've been a person in a locker room that has been a part of the conversation that has said the wrong phrases and the wrong words myself, which Wade now 38 years old now. As I gotten older and I watched my daughter grew, I had to go and look at myself in the mirror and said, "Who are you? What are you going to do if your child comes home and says, 'Dad, I'm not a boy. I'm a trans girl'? What are you going to do?" That was my moment of real. Now, mind, this is a different article that still dealing with the thing I was reading earlier, but it's going a little deeper because this is a different article. So mind you, keep that in mind. He stressed it was Zaire who helped the family better understand her journey. Now, he's talking about the boy. I know I'm still reading her. This is not her, it's a he, but it's not a story. She is our leader. I think when the conversation we had, the one thing about it for parents is that, or having a conversation with your kids, I early on knew two things. She knew straight and she knew gay. But Zaire started doing much more, or doing more research. He added, she is the one who sat down with us as a family and said, "Hey, I don't think I'm gay." And she went down the list. "This is how I identify myself. This is my gender identity. I identify myself as a young lady. I think I'm a straight trans." Oh, people. I can't with this nonsense, man. I swear, this is a weird, twisted world we live in, man. Man. I don't know what to say, people. I read it all, man. I can see why they push this agenda so hard. They want us to be so sexually confused that we start questioning our own sexuality if we're not careful. God willing. All right, let me compose myself a minute. Whew. Because I like boys. So it was a process for us to sit down with our daughter and find out who she is and what she likes and not put something on her. On February 11th, Gabrielle wrote on Twitter, hugs. Thank you to everyone whose DMs I said into my friends, family, so who provide information, resource, and love and encouragement. We are humbled that LGBTQ allies with a lot to learn and grateful for all the supports. We encourage y'all to check us as needed. Yeah, she put that little weird Twitter out there. She also posted a video of Zaire later that day with the caption, "She compassionately, loving, whip smart, and we are so proud of her." She wrote, "It's okay to listen to, love, and respect your children exactly as they are, love, and like good people." See Zaire in her own words below. Let me see if I can play this. All right, it should come up now. Hold on, people.
They're afraid they will be judged. I would say, don't even think about that. Just be true to yourself, because are you really even, what's the point of being on this earth if you're going to try to be something like that? It's like you're not even living as yourself. It's just the dumbest concept to me. It's just be true and don't really care what the stereotypical way of being you is.
Even when people are being mean, and even when people are getting hurt because they're trying to be themselves, and even through that, you still want people to make sure that they live their truth.
Yeah, I think I know it can get tough, definitely. Yeah, but I think you push through and you be the best you, and especially more recently, it's become more accepting. Even though there's obviously a lot of people out there who still want to set more in the back in their days way of mind. But I think even through hard times, just you gotta push through. I mean, like, it's worth it. I feel like it's very worth it when you reach that point of, like, yourself.
Feeling free.
Yeah.
Feeling like you.
Yeah.
Feeling like you don't have to hide.
Like, you could look in the mirror and, like, say, like, hi to yourself. Like, nice to meet you. Instead of, like, I don't really know who I am. Like a full identity crisis.
Yeah. Hear from the boy's mouth. Yeah. And there's a powerful message of Dwayne, which I'm not going to click on to that. Yeah, but that's enough that. But like I said before, yeah, we live in a very confused world, and like anything to confuse the population, people, one of the major things you could use, not only language, but you also confuse people by gender and gender roles. And this, we all know this is no surprise. It's been going on for decades now about the roles of men and women. And it exceeds much more now because they introduced this LGBTQ nonsense to the population of people. And I don't like it. One thing. The call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. Access code 91541#. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 91541#. Tonight's show is titled, Are Fathers Condoning Homosexuality for Their Sons? Oh, we have callers. So let me pause here and take a few calls. First call, open up. Hello, caller. Who's it?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? Is that Yasha?
What's going on? Yeah. Hey, I meant to call last night with ABC show, but I fell asleep and shit. So, and I had all the intention to call on his show last night, but I fell asleep. But yeah, man, this is we're living in some sick times, and and this really is a sick thing. I mean, can't nobody sit here and justify to me some little boy knowing what talking about he's a transgender. That's bullshit. Someone had to tell him. He had to be exposed to something, or somebody told him something, or exposed him to something to make him feel this way. You know, I was a little boy too, and I played with all types of dolls. Okay, I used to pick dolls up and throw them. The female dolls, I throw the Barbie doll, I throw that shit too. We throw them dolls around the room. You know, my sister would get mad at me and everything like that. You know, but my point is that this to me, you know, something happened in this young man, in this young boy's life to make him feel this way. Something had to happen. I'm disappointed in Wade. I'm disappointed in the Wade. I'm disappointed in his wife too, but I don't trust her anyway, because she could be somewhat the culprit in some of this. You know, so I think you got me on the speakerphone or something. But the phone is vibrating. I mean,
you hear something?
Echoing. Yeah.
Hold on, let me check.
The phone is okay. That's better.
Just keep talking.
Okay, yeah. So it's crazy to me, man. The topic, you know, whether or not his father's condoning this behavior in young black boys. I can't speak for all fathers. You know, I can't speak for all of them. But I think it's because that they've made it such a crime to even tell your son that you're not gay. They've made it such a crime to make you. They made it a crime. Let me rephrase what I just said. They made it a crime to be a man, but particularly a black man. If you're a black man and you're teaching your son to be masculine, or you're teaching your son to be a typical boy coming up, etc., that's a crime now. They damn near made that a crime. So then once you become a man and you do manly things, then they want to label you as being toxic. They got this toxic thing now that they're throwing at you because you're, So again, this is, I think, a social engineering plan to, as far as I'm concerned. This is a plan to, in fact, to emasculate black men. Period. You see, it's always seemed like the black males are being targeted with this whole gay thing. Now, the problem is with black people in social media. That's become somewhat for us a problem. It's become a good thing for us. It's become a bad thing for us because we tend to put our business and say every goddamn thing on social media. We do a lot of shit on social media, which is, sometimes it can come back and bite us in the foot. You see, so I can't speak for all fathers, but I think in this case, Dwayne Wade needs to be slapped. That 6'5", 6'6" Negro needs to be slapped right in the mouth for him to okay this and think that's normal. No, it's not normal, Dwayne. This is not normal, bro. It's not normal, and you don't have to be a man to practice to be masculine and to tell your son, no, son, this is not how it is. You're a young boy. There's nothing wrong with that. Stand up and be a goddamn man. Now, again, all these people out here talking about alpha males and all that shit. Some of this shit's coming from them. Now, you want to be an alpha goddamn male, but you can't tell your son that he's a boy and not a fucking transgender? Are you crazy? Don't make no sense to me. But that's all I gotta say, man. I mean,
Joshua, it's not that so many men are afraid, but it goes back to say, what you as a man you upholding? What stance are you gonna put? What way are you gonna put your foot down in regards to your household? I always ask a lot of males that have kids, and I ask this question. I ask this in the good of my heart, saying, what will you not allow as a man?
Right.
Because to really ask this question, do you condone this? Actually, a fair question. Because I've been hearing lately that, and this is not lately, but let's keep it real. They say a lot of single mothers are creating and producing these homosexual sons. Okay, I give you that. But lately, besides the stars that we're seeing now, that's depicting this now, I'm hearing from a lot of black males that's not celebrities, that's, the typical norm that, you and me know of. If their sons come out gay, the only thing they'll say, I won't accept it, but I can't hate you. I'm going to still have you close to the family and all that. And to me, I'm advocating, you actually condone it because now your son could decide one day as he old, make that decision and still be around your presence.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. Well, like I said, again, I don't care what nobody says. No baby or child comes out gay. That's bullshit. I don't care what. You can throw 1,000 scientists at me, and them lying-ass bastards. No child comes out like that. That's just bullshit. Okay, let's just get it. That's a bunch of hogwash. The point is, again, a lot of this behavior you see. Here's the thing. If a young man grows up and he becomes an adult and he decides that he wants to practice that life, then that's a whole different ballgame. Right? If that's just what the hell he wants to do. But don't come to me tell me some young girl is making that decision and you're gonna allow that decision. That to me is goddamn. That's just crazy to me. And I'm trying to put words around this whole thing because this is why I say that we're pretty fucked up. And I'm trying not to curse, but we're really, really messed up people, man. I mean, stuff is really crazy. I'm just trying to put words around this whole thing with this young girl. And this same thing with the white girl, with the white woman who got the adopted son, and she dresses him like a girl. This is crazy. And this shit is accepted now. 40, 50 years ago, 60, 70 years ago, they would have took that child away from her and said that's child abuse. You see? But again, I'm just trying to put words around this, man. I'm not going to hold the phone too long. But, again, man, that's all I got to say, man. That's it, man.
Okay. Stay there. Let me open this next line, Joshua. Thank you. All right. Open the new line. Is this JNYC? I'm not sure this is Jay. Hello? Jay? Oh?
I think you picked me up again, Gary. I think you picked me up again.
Are you calling from 718?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So yeah, man, I heard about this story. I heard just a clip of the interview. I think I mentioned this before.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just reiterate it. So, I'm not gonna tell Dwayne Wade how to raise his children, right? For me, the only concern that I have of anything is, him raising his child to be a productive person in a sense where he's not going to go or violate anybody else, whether it be verbally or physically, that's it. If it doesn't intrude in my life, it doesn't really matter. Now, as far as me and as my perspective as raising a child, or if it was my duty or my responsibility or my position, maybe I would go about it a different way. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that I'm going to tell him what he should do and how to raise a child. First of all, I don't have no children, so I'm not going to tell somebody how to raise their child. The only thing that I could say is give an opinion or some advice. And the only way I would give advice if they're asking for it or it's becoming it's a problem in a sense of something physical, somebody being harmed that affects you, right, or that's affecting outside. Now, yes, he's going to interact with other young children. He's going to give his perspective or what he feels. Two things, right? Yeah, maybe he was exposed to some of the stuff that we hearing about that, he feels like this or the other. But, I think we keep making the same mistake over and over. We're trying to give an opinion on something that we don't know unless you practice that type of lifestyle or live that, right? So, or in that person's life. So I think, first of all, Gary, I know you don't know, like, homosexuals, like, you can just call anybody. But I think you should get somebody that is homosexual, and they could explain why they do some of the things that you guys is always speaking about, that you feel so bothered by, or, if you feel it affects. Now, again, going back to Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade's son, right? I think partially it might be some exposure to other people, maybe, but I think at the end of the day, that child is gonna feel how he's gonna feel. Maybe it might not completely know right now because he's young. He's still growing. You still don't know exactly what's going on in the world, right? And just trying to find yourself. But again, when you hear these stories over and over and over again, and this is what I'm trying to say, you got to get to the root, and it's really speaking to those people so you could try to understand, even though you won't understand because that's not you, but you could try to get some perspective on why they are the way they are. Why is it, where did this come from? What about the ones that never been exposed to a television? What about those people that are really very religious, and the parents never expose them to that type of stuff, and they come out to be homosexual, like the same sex. So, I think that, again, two things is raising the child, like, is one thing to say, oh, well, I should do this. That's cool if that's you. But if that's the other person, you can't really say. It's hard to say. And then are you willing to take that responsibility? So if that person say, yeah, well, I would do it this way, and then they say, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to sign the paperwork over, and you raise the child, and you take care of him the way you want. So that could be another angle. But again, we have opinions, to speak on it. But I think that it's ultimately you, and why I say that in that way is because we have to have our own experiences in life to understand, what that person is dealing with or how they're going through it or how they're going to deal with it. And a lot of times we're talking from the outside. Again, we don't know that type of lifestyle. We ain't raising, some of us ain't even here got children. And we don't have, if they have children, don't have a homosexual child. Maybe you need to get a parent like that and get a homosexual person to find out what is it, how they have become the person they have become. Not that is a negative or positive thing. I'm saying the person that they have come to as far as personality, sexual orientation, what their preference is, how did they come to that? And I think we will better understand and we'll stop hitting ourselves in the head over and over with the same subject matter over and over, because we'll get to the conclusion and say, all right, you know what? This is where it's at. It might not be everybody's situation, but this is commonly why this is this way. And then if it's not that, it's this. So there's got to be something. There's there's always a reason to everything. That's what I say. So we have to put ourselves in in that person's position. And then again, I would just finalize with this. Me, myself, I would not go about it the way Dwayne Wade is going about it. That I just want to clarify that. But if I had to deal with a situation like that, I'm going to try to work as best as possible, and I'm not going to shun or disown my child. Now, I just seen there was a episode. I don't watch it on a regular basis. I catch it every once in a while with my lady. For entertainment purposes. Love and Hip Hop. Right? So we caught this. Again, it's not a regular basis thing. Every once in a while I see it just to see what's going on. It's entertainment. I see the son of J.T. Money. J.T. Money is a famous Miami rapper from, that's been doing it for years. He's like Luke, if you want to say, Trick Daddy. And I just found out that his son is one of the cast members on Love and Hip Hop, and he's a gay man. Right? And as far I read, because I didn't know who this guy was, I'm just like, who the hell is this dude? And I said, damn, Love and Hip Hop is wow now, So I said, who is this dude? When I go to find out, it's JT Money's son, right? And then when I read, I keep reading the article, it says that JT Money about 3 or 4 years ago abandoned his son, because he found out his son is homosexual and he don't agree with it, this, that, the other. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't go about it that way. I might not agree with it. I might cringe. I might, want to bite my nails. But at the end of the day, you got to let people live their life. You don't want nobody to tell you how to live your life. That's all I'm saying. I'll leave it there.
How old is the son? This guy that he abandoned that was gay?
He's in his 20s, man. He got to be in his 20s. Yeah, like early or mid-20s.
Well, I can't speak on that.
Yeah, check it out. Check that article just so you can see, not to watch the show, but watch the stuff with JT Money. You look up his son, cast member of Love and Hip Hop. And I'm just saying, that's just to say incident and situation on the abandonment. So here's the opposite of a Dwayne Wade in Miami, ironically. But he has a son. He's a hip-hop artist, a very misogynistic type of lyrics. And he abandoned his son after finding out he was gay. That's all. I just want to be added that.
All right, thank you, Jay. Let me open this next one. All right, I open your line. Who's this?
Big Jay here. I'm going to ask a question. Have any of you gentlemen have thought that what Dwayne Wade is doing is not because of what's trying to be cringy, but what's to get back at the mother of his child? Have any of y'all thought about that?
Matter of fact, it's excellent that you mentioned that about Dwayne Wade's first wife.
Right.
I've been hearing lately through social media and stuff that they're attacking her for the cause of this boy being gay.
I'm just asking because that's something that rarely has been brought up. Because you know how Negroes are when it comes on social media. They like to take a story and run with it and run it through the ground.
Can you speak up a little bit, Jay? Just a little bit, if you can. If not, I understand. Can you speak up just a little bit? Just a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, this could be a way of getting back at the mother of the mother of the child, rather than this social justice idea that's been running that's been rampant part. Now, I agree with Bougie, whatever his name is. I kind of agree with him on this part. If he's gay, let him be gay, but don't, do not let him become trans, because you don't know that what's going to happen. The guy, the child's still 13 years old. You don't know what's going to go happen when he turns 18 or 25. It must be, he must be going through a phase or something. Why not wait until that child turns 21 and then let him decide what the hell he wants to do with his life? That's what needs that should be the issue itself. Why force a child, or why how can I say it? Castrate a child, chemically castrate a child at an age when he doesn't even know where he's coming from. Now, I know, I'm going to cut this short, but we got to be a little bit more mindful and careful how we go into discussions like this, because it easily can go left field. But the thing is though, like what happened in Texas when you had that mother who forced her son to become a man, even though she was divorced when the father of her child said no. And that we need to focus on making a law so that parents can't just mutilate their children in a sexual manner like this, forced sexual change. I think that decision should be left upon that child once that child turns 18 or 21 years old. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay. Thank you. It's interesting, and I wish I hyped up the social media response to this. How? Wait. Make sure my mic. Hold on, let me fix that. Yeah, that's you, Big Guy. I have to mute your line. Sorry. You can call back in to raise your hand, because I think it's cost of feedback. Yeah, it's interesting that and it's good that BJ brought up the mother into all this. I tell you, black women, damn if you do, damn if you don't, you're not going to win this. And the reason why I say, because, mind you, this man was raised by the father, and he came out with this. I'm not sure why would somebody from social media or any other outlets go all the way to blame the mother that their son come out gay, and she did not play integral part of their child's development. The father did. And I find that very interesting. But like I said before, to a lot of black men that either understand or don't understand that, it's not the black woman's fault in this matter in regards to the weights. It's really sole responsibility is done by the father. And I said this before, and I will not say this again. When I asked the question, the important question, and it has to be asked, and I've concluded from my perspective, and I will get pushback, which is fine, that our fathers condoning homosexuality for their sons. And we all know for decades that, whether a single household or whatever that caused a lot of our boys turn out, and usually that turnout usually is caused by chemical inductions, also by trauma, mostly a lot by trauma, by sexual abuse, rape, by sodomy. Boys are being sodomized by other males, grown men. and it has that lasting effect on them psychologically, which is hard for them to correct. And to find now that, this is just only known through the media, through celebrities, that they push this type of sickness in front of the whole populace of people. A lot of us will take this as merit and not really question why would a man feel so comfortable to come out and tell the world what his son wants to be. And it goes back to, again, that when you go transgender, anything can go, if y'all know. These people that said they want to be transgender could either choose to have their sexual equipment still attached or have it surgically removed, which more than 50 or less percent of them or less don't really have that thing that separate them from the actual gender be removed on the average. And I mean by the average. Because they notice that by going fully castrated, it has psychological effects to them. It will make them go insane, crazy, even to the point where they could commit suicide, which is all right, because usually if you cannot live and feel comfortable in the body and the sex you're in, then suicidal is the next step, And, maybe embracing it will not be a bad thing, because you're already in a stage of self-termination. So the only thing you do is nature moves too slow, so you do it for it. But like I said, those are things and the consequence when a lot of people go that route transgender-wise. They can go either or. And, I find stories where I hear some dudes that, they mess around with a lot of these people that they don't investigate properly, and they go mess and buck around sleep with the same sex. And once they discover, only two things will happen. Usually some of those dudes will sit there beat the hell out of that person, or go as far as, put himself in prison when they go as far as to kill that person that lied to him from the start. And that's the way of life, But a lot of people that is saying that God made a mistake and they will do this and that, and they oppose their sickness and their confusion to others and want others to accept it, is such a no-no thing. It's shameful. It's very disrespectful in my books. I don't condone some things, and I don't respect any person that goes that full extent, like what they're doing now, and saying that they think that it was a mistake and they should be this sex, not this sex, and say I'm still operate as a heterosexual person, but I'm a transgender. You cannot have it both ways, sir or ladies. Either you're over here or you over here. Just like even the same conversation I had when they talk about this bisexual nonsense. You as a male, you cannot be a bisexual man and think that you're still a straight heterosexual man engaged in heterosexual activity with women. Once you engage in sodomy, and you all know what sodomy is, you already concluded and convinced to the world and to that person that I not only play both sides of the fence, but I could still hop over here and still operate as a male in a space and not be criticized to be a LGBTQ. No. And LGBT is one of them, is B, standing for bisexual, which really is that it could be bi. You can't be bi as a man, much as you can't be bi as a woman. So to be fair, when they talk about this bisexual nonsense, if you're a bisexual woman, you are engaged in homosexual activity, you're engaged in carpet eating, you're engaged in stimulating other women's anus and all that stuff. You're still doing stuff. You're still engaged in masturbation with the same sex. You're still sick. Same thing with you as a man. You sit there and indulge into doo-doo, feces, and et cetera, and, go as far as, sucking and engulfing and swallowing the essence of another man, same sex. You are operating in gay fashion, you know what I'm saying? You want to feel like a woman if you're that man and you feel like you should be penetrated or not only receiving but giving as well. So one thing, if we want to learn anything from this, that, please get some psychological help if you can, if it's still available for this. There's no way around it. If you come to realization that what you've been doing for a long time, it was a mistake, and you feel that you've been coerced or you've been conditioned this, you still have some hope. And I say the only hope is you got to better your mind and better whatever sanity you have left to correct yourself. And you should let your mates know that you're getting this help to correct yourself. And mind you, if you're a homosexual person, a lot of people that's friends that's homosexual like yourself won't accept this. They won't like you. They won't forgive you for this. But notice that when you actually come to realization of what it really is and awaken, and you decide you don't want to do no more, there is help for you to correct your behavior. I'm not saying you're totally gone. You're gone now in front of being around average people and having a natural, normal life. But you could at least say the same thing of yourself by correcting your mental illness. That's one thing you have the responsibility you could do for yourself. So let me read these chats. Oh, all right. I have one more person, if I can find him. Hold on a second. As I wait, the call number for tonight's show is 712-770-4160. The access code is 915-411-pound. I repeat, 712-770-4160. Access code 915-411-pound. Tonight's subject, T.R.S Reign presents Our Fathers Condoning Homosexuality for Their Sons.
Yeah, Gary, this is all facts. I called on the host number. That's why, I just want to let you know I'm on the line. Yeah, well, let me get my comments real quick, and I'm going to, and to each his own. What I feel now, and listening to your show and ABC show from last night, and just hearing from you two guys. I listened to Amari today, too. And he was getting on the heterosexual people like I'm gonna get on you on ABC. And to each his own, you guys can have your own opinion. But let me get straight to the point. Dwayne Wade is not responsible. He's not responsible for every black family situation when it comes to talking to children about their sexual identity. He's not responsible for that. How dare we put him in that position? One reason why Dwayne Wade is making this public, and this is just my opinion, is that he's trying to be proactive and not being reactive. He knows that he had a conversation privately with his son. He knows that this is going to come public. People such as you and ABC is going to criticize his son. You don't like him. People like you, Gary, and ABC, his son has to watch out for his life out here. Because people, not saying you guys, but people with a little extreme measures, see, because you laughed at his son, I wouldn't say disability. Well, I would say disability means that he is not he's not the normal person out here. He just doesn't, his sexual activity and the way he sees things and the way he has to pick his partners, he or she has to pick his partners, is not normal than all the rest of us. So we can say it's a disability because we have to protect them and put things in measures to protect them from people such as you and ABC. Because you're not going to hire them. You're not going to want, you're going to talk behind their back even though they're your waiter. I don't know. You're talking behind his son's back, a child that's going through a time. And I'm going to say this how far back. I'm hearing that this is destroying the black family. But see, Dwayne Wade and them, they're not primitive. For the most part, black people raise their families primitive. When the child does something, they yell and they scream. Some get a belt, some use their hands and physically strike their child. That's primitive. With some black families, when a child, such as Dwayne Wade's son, and talk to their family, some black parents kick them out, tell them to go to church, disown them, kick them out the house, all that type of stuff, physically harm them, disown them, tease them, belittle them. That's primitive. But see, Dwayne Wade has education. He has psychologists working with his son. The psychologist would tell them, we know education. If your son comes to you, that Dwayne Wade, and you cuss him out and you disown him, you make him feel like he want to commit suicide. You're not going to give no encouragement. ABC said last night when he was 6 years old, I said when I was 6 years old also, he knew that he was attracted to a female. Then he says a child doesn't know whether they're gay or not. How do you know a gay person doesn't know that they're attracted to a male or a gay 6-year-old boy? How do you know a gay 6-year-old boy doesn't know he's attracted to males at 6 of age, but you knew that you was attracted to a female? One other thing and I'll fall back. Got to take a shower and I'll be back for overtime. Another point, Gary. Our heterosexual parents did not make out. Let me rephrase it. If any of you guys are heterosexual, did your heterosexual parents make you heterosexual? Or did it come naturally? People are saying, Dwayne Wade, when your son comes to you and tells you that, you're supposed to make him a boy and make him a man. And hold up, in that way of making him a boy and making him a man, just like ABC wants, you're gonna make your son, and I'm gonna be graphic here, you're gonna make your son wanna get an erection off of a female. Dwayne Wade can't do that, just like your father and mother did not make you. Phil, I'm talking to the males now. Just like your mother and father did not make you get an erection off of a female when you saw them. Huh? What do y'all want this boy to do? You only can tell me the opposite. He's supporting his son. You want him to do the opposite. Don't support him. He's talking to your son. You want him not to talk to his son. He's going to support his son financially and spiritually. You want him to shut all the money out, cut him off. You probably want him, he's going to good psychologists and feeling good about himself, because no matter what you think about him, if he still feels good about himself despite what Gary and ABC says about him and his son, they have good mental health. It's bad mental health for them to listen to you and ball up and change and say, oh, I'm weak, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. That's bad mental health. So the only thing I'm saying is this is a situation where as though don't criticize Dwayne Wade for bringing this out to the public when you did not criticize his ex-wife for bringing out all that juicy scandal in their divorce. When his wife was out there talking bad about Dwayne Wade, was she promoting black couples for getting the divorce? Was she promoting that? No. So Dwayne Wade is not promoting homosexuality in his family. He's just saying, this is what my family's going through. Any other families may going through that. I'm taking this route. You can do another route, but I'm telling you this. So that's all I want to say, Gary. Gary, I respect your opinion. That's just what it is. I understand your concern that people may look at Dwayne Wade's son and say, these are stars, and I could just become gay, and I think it's in style. I know you have that concern, Gary. I know. But I think it's a little polarizing now because the normal, natural folks say that they're not going to be going through this. That's all I had to say, Gary. I'm going to go get in the shower, and I'm going to come back, but if not, I'll wait for overtime, my buddy. And I just like for everybody that's listening, please enter the contest. Go to talkrealsolutions.com. You can look at the rules of the contest. We have a contest that ends at the last day of Black History Month. You can win $400. It's an easy contest. If you cannot make the minimum amount to participate, a $5 receipt from a black-owned McDonald's franchise, a McGriddle, will help. Our goal is $5,000 collectively together. Any amount helps. Guys, if you're worrying about your security, the only thing we need on the receipt is the name of the business so we can verify that it's a black business. That's obvious. And a telephone, but if you don't have a telephone on the receipt, that's fine. The amount and the date. You can scratch out your name. If you use a debit card you have your receipt, on the receipt, you can scratch out your items. We just need a total amount, the date of the purchase, and it's a black business. And you're going to be helping this program to try to support the black community at large. That's all. Thanks, Gary. I appreciate it, and I'll holler at y'all back. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, I'm 2 more lines. Maybe I might call it night. All right. Hello?
Yeah. I think you had muted me, and then I went back. But go ahead. Check the other line, brother. I'm going to sit back.
My line is number 2. Or
Hi, Gary, this is Miss Lady. I've been listening for about a half an hour, and I got the gist of it. I want to say thank you, number one, for your remark about some men blaming Dwayne Wade's wife or the mother of his child for his sexual orientation.
Miss Lane, can you speak up a little bit? Just a little bit if you can.
Okay, let me turn up my volume. Is this better?
A little bit. I just want to make sure it's loud, clear for the playback. Go ahead.
Okay, so I want to thank you for it's like now it's an echo. I want to thank you for, what is that? Somebody's messing with the line. Hello?
Keep talking. I've got to check that.
Okay. It just never ceases to amaze me how black mothers, wives will be blamed for anything that goes wrong within a black family structure or community. And I want to thank you for noting that the mother of this child is not to blame for his sexual orientation at all. In fact, his mother tried her best to keep those children, and the children were given to Dwayne Wade, he who had the money and the resources to fight really well in a divorce and the child custody case. Also, the last caller, he did a little switcheroo, where he also brought in the black woman, as if, the black woman talking about her travails with her marriage and the divorce issues was such a horrible thing to do. That's her right to do what she wants, but you saw how he switched it from the child's sexual orientation to focusing and blaming the child's mother. Of course, it had nothing to do whatsoever with this child's orientation, but he would bring up the mother of the child to make her look like she was immoral or in the wrong, so to speak, because she verbalized her feelings and things that she, from her perspective, what was going on with the marriage and her divorce. It never ceases to amaze me how black men have no problem whatsoever in turning a conversation around to put a spotlight and to strike an arrow toward the body, the heart, and the soul of a black woman. Never ceases to amaze me. They are just pitiful beyond words. And that's all I got to say about that. Thank you.
I wouldn't blame the mother. For that. Me personally, like I said, the person, that young person is going to develop into who it is, and I want to just again, what do you do with a child that their parents do everything by the book that you view is right, and the child has, has a preference for the same sex. It hasn't been exposed to any of that type of activity, but yet it ends up choosing their lifestyle that way. I don't blame the parents whatsoever.
All right, hold on a second, guys. Jay, keep talking for a second. Let me just handle somebody's comment.
Yeah. So I'm just saying again. I wouldn't blame the mother, the father. I mean,
all right, I get you. Like I said, so I really put the blame on the women on this particular phone, and it's not the purpose for tonight. That's why I kind of threw that question out there. But I think I said my piece tonight in regards to this matter. But only time will tell. My suggestion, and I'll do this for a second. Give me a second, guys. I'll do this. My suggestion is this: that if there's not enough disownment or any actual logical, I would say fair punishment to any of your kids if they decide to go that route as a parent, then obviously what happens happens, And like I said, a lot of men gotta make a decision at the end of the day when it comes to their sons, because like I said, these agendas are pushed by we like it or not, and how we accept it or not, it's going to be the determining factor of where this world's going to shape in the coming years to come. So before concluding, I'll say a few things that I discovered. I've noticed people who have transitioned, transition. V. Smith died, I believe, she might have died today. Also, today is the 69th birthday of Amos N. Wilson. As you know, he transitioned. He transitioned on January the 15th, I believe. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. So those are like the few heads up. I think she transitioned the same day of his birthday, 23rd February or 22nd, one of the days. But that's it. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to tonight's stream. Be on the lookout for the next stream. Also, please follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. And that's it. Thank y'all for listening. Until next time, take care now. Good night.
Thank you for listening to another broadcast. And like always, comment, subscribe, and like this video. You can also follow me on Twitter at ChaosReign7. Thank you for listening. Until next time, let it chaos.